Or not. Okay, here we go.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Next item, please.
Invocation.
Okay, this morning we will have Commissioner Varga and Commissioner Kenlock to introduce our invocator for this morning. Commissioner Varga.
Thank you. Please bear with me for a minute. When we started doing the budget director said to me, wouldn't it be wonderful if somehow I could arrange for a minister to pray over my first budget as I presented to full board. And I had a feeling that he was not so sure that we would get to this point in such a peaceful manner. So to give him a little bit of hope that everything will be fine, I said, please, you go ahead and get your minister and I will introduce your minister for you. Well, when I found out that this particular wonderful minister is from Commissioner Kenlock's district, it was only fair that I would let him introduce his own minister. Commissioner Kenlock.
Thank you, Commissioner Varga. Reverend Ted Kim is the senior pastor of the wonderful congregation of Metropolitan United Methodist Church in Detroit. Metropolitan is a diverse congregation that, along with providing uplifting and soul-feeding worship services, continues its long history of serving its community and the world through various ministries and missions. Among Metropolitan's various local ministries are its weekly food pantry, the hosting of Detroit Diaper Bank, NAAA Group, Police Athletic League basketball program, and the Women, Children, and Families United service organization. The faithful congregation of Metropolitan also supports and works with local social service groups to help provide and serve the many immediate and long-term needs. That includes partnering with local churches and homeless shelters during the winter, which churches take turns 1 week at a time to host those in greatest need during the winter. In 2000, he received a Master's of Divinity degree from Wellesley Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C., and his clinical pastoral education from MedStar Washington Hospital Center in D.C. Reverend Tech has been the senior pastor of Metropolitan United Methodist Church since July 2021. He is in his 20th year in ministry. Throughout his ministry in pre-pandemic, he was an active volunteer chaplain at local hospitals and led worship services and local nursing homes at all his church appointments. He served on the Michigan Conference Board of Ordained Ministry for over 10 years, where he oversaw clergy recruitment. Among other roles, he is an authorized coach for the Michigan Conference. The focus of his life and ministry are founded on Christ's two greatest commandments: to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love others as yourself. He and his wife, Jamie, were married in 2002 and are the joyful parents of 14-year-old Rebecca and 12-year-old twin sons, Andrew and Jonathan. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you and bring before you the senior pastor of the congregation of Metropolitan United Methodist Church, Reverend Tech Kim.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenlock, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, Commissioner Bell, Wayne County Commissioners, and all guests. As we present today's significant, or as we have a presentation for today's significant meeting for the adoption of the budget, I bring to you greetings from Metropolitan United Methodist Church. And I am thankful for Drew Griff to invite me to give the invocation. So let us pray. Gracious and loving God, creator and sustainer of us all, you who are the provider of all good gifts, we acknowledge and thank you for your presence here and now. Remember that you are always present, especially in the moments we may forget. We humbly acknowledge your need for you and your guidance, praising you for leading us with your various gifts, roles, and resources you've given to us so that we could do all that we do, including in what we are prepared to do in this place on this very day. Continue to bless the hearts, the minds, and souls of each servant here who have diligently worked to bring before us the culmination of all the planning and visioning that will truly benefit the citizens of Wayne County. May what we do today, all we do in the days, weeks, and years to come, honor you as we seek to love you and our neighbors with your loving peace, justice, and equity. Allow us to see how your hands have worked in and through our lives and through our communities, reaching out into our county, our country, and even world, so that we may be ever more encouraged to continue offering and doing our best in all things. We earnestly pray for your continued guidance and blessing and seek to do all the good we can during the time you grant us. Help us to continue working well together so that we can keep doing what none of us could do alone, especially during times of challenges and trials. With your wisdom, may we continue to rise higher together in community and service in order to lift one another up in your name's sake. In all these things we pray with the great love and thanksgiving we have in you, O Lord, our rock and redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend, for that wonderful prayer and that special prayer for Drew on his first budget. Thank you. Next item, please.
Correcting and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydun.
Move for approval. Support.
Moved and supported. Any corrections to the journal? Discussion on the journal? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
Report from the chair.
We have a long agenda today. I am hopeful that we will get through it in the matter that we need to, taking the time to discuss items that need to be discussed and making sure that we're doing the work for the citizens of Wayne County. As a reminder to those on the telephone and on Zoom, we vet all of the items during committee and then they come to full board for final disposition. Next item, please.
We're on page 2 of the agenda, unfinished business. There is none listed. We're moving to offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. We have one resolution listed, a resolution by Commissioner Varga proclaiming September 15th through October 15th, 2022 as National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Commissioner Varga?
Move approval.
Been moved and supported. Discussion?
Thank you. As we celebrate the Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th through October 15th, we remember the cultures, histories, the contributions of the American citizens who our ancestors immigrated from Spain, Mexico, and the Caribbean, and Central and South America. And as you know, my district and most of Downriver is very, very celebratory during this month. And I'm offering this resolution from us as recognition of all of their contributions to our Wayne County. Back about 10, 15 years ago, Southwest Detroit was in a very poor housing condition, and we had a great influx of the Hispanic community. And today, especially the zip code 48209 is flourishing. The houses are beautiful. So we contribute this to our Hispanic heritage and the culture and the pride that they have in home ownership. So with this, I did move it for approval, and I'm hoping that we could open the board afterwards for those who want to co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution? Commissioner Vice Chair Baydun?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Varga, for bringing this. It's only fitting to say in Spanish, Feliz Mes de la Herencia Nacional, which means Happy National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Gracias.
De nada.
Commissioner Basham? No response, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, if we can now, when your time, open the board for co-sponsors. When the board is ready, let us know. The voice vote is open, okay.
Co-sponsors duly noted.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We are moving to reports from committees. Report A is from the Committee on Audit. There is one item listed.
Commissioner Basham?
Yes, I'd like to move one item to receive and file.
Moved and supported to move the one item on the Committee on Audit to receive and file. Any discussion on that item? Please vote.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Here on report B from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security, there are 8 items listed on pages 2 and 3 of the agenda.
Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move items 1 through 7, receive and file, and item number 8 as approval. Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the items under the Public Safety Committee? Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
And carries.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Here on report C from the Committee on Senior Citizens and Veterans Affairs, there is one item listed.
Commissioner Scott.
On the item, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to have a motion and support for this only item that we had on the agenda.
Been moved by Commissioner Scott. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Hados. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item, please.
Here on report D from the Committee on Economic Development, there is one item listed.
Commissioner Hados.
Thank you, Madam the Chair. I move to receive and file item 1.
Been moved and supported by Commissioner Anderson to receive and file the one item under the Economic Development Committee report. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
Here on report E from the Committee on Public Services, there are 11 items listed on pages 4 through 7 of the agenda.
Commissioner Mercki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of items 1 through 11 and make Commissioner Haddis the maker of the motion on number 6.
There's support?
Support.
Mr. Basham. Turn the microphone on, please.
Can I turn my microphone on? Can I be the maker of motion, item number 9?
Sure.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Palomero, then Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I request to be the maker of the motion on item 10 and also will be voting yes on all the matters except item E6 where I will abstain.
Mr. Anderson.
Madam Chair, I'd like, with the support of the chair of the committee, I'd like to be the sponsor of item 1 and 3.
Sure.
Thank you.
Have a motion and support. Any further discussion on the public services report? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries. I have Commissioner Hattis as the maker of the motion on 6, Commissioner Basham on 9, Commissioner Anderson on items 1 and 3, Commissioner Palomero on number 10, as well as an abstention on number 6.
Item, please.
Here on report F from the Committee on Ways and Means, there are 13 items listed.
Commissioner Varga.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of the report on Ways and Means Committee items 1 through 13.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion on the Ways and Means report, the 13 items on the Ways and Means report? Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
Here on report G from the Committee on Health and Human Services, there are 6 items listed on pages 10 through 14 of the agenda.
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of items 1 through 6. Support.
Moved and supported items 1 through 6 on the Health and Human Services report. Any discussion on the report? Please vote.
Madam Chair.
Motion carries.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
I
Commissioner
was a bit-
Knizik.
Yes, ma'am. I was a bit slow on the uptake. I'd like to abstain on item 5, please.
5
And 6.
and 6. Okay. Thank you. Next item, please.
Here on page 14 of the agenda, report H from the Committee of the Whole, there are 9 items listed on pages 14 through 16 of the agenda.
Okay, this first item is our budget, and because it is our budget, we have to go into a public hearing. Commissioner Varga.
Support.
Moved, support to open a public hearing on the budget. Please vote on open up the public hearing.
Carries.
Okay, public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the chambers who would like to discuss public hearing on the budget? Zoom. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Good morning. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Robert Pulowski, and I'm from Southgate, Wayne County. Just want to give big compliments on the budget. Really don't have anything bad to say about the budget. I took a look at it last night, and I think it was really well thought through by the Commission and everybody at Wayne County. You know, you're putting the citizens first, and the amount of time that it took to dedicate the roads, the health and human services to this budget, you know, that was the big key for me. So I just want to say, you know, well done on the budget, and I hope to have a good outcome and full support on this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming out today. Is there anyone else in the chamber to speak to the budget? there anyone on Zoom? Can unmute everyone on Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom to speak to the budget? Anyone on the telephone to speak to the budget?
Close public hearing.
Moved in support to close public hearing. Please vote on closing the public hearing.
Carries.
Right? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Varga to discuss the budget for the 22-23 fiscal year.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we discussed it in Committee of the Whole extensively, I think this is a very, very good budget. We worked very diligently all summer, all August to bring this to you. I believe that most of the issues that people brought forward were addressed in this budget. We have a forward-looking budget, so we have left some dollars in there for our personnel retention and also for new hires. And we're looking forward to working on those as soon as this budget concludes with hopefully your adoption. If you have any specific questions, I would entertain questions on it. I know we talked about it a lot in full board or in Committee of the Whole. Thank you, Madam Chair, for appointing me to this Ways and Means, and this will be my last budget that I'm bringing to you. And I am so very much looking forward to how we would say in my favorite sports that I would love to have a hat trick today because this would be our third consecutive budget that would be a consensus budget where we did not have to disagree with the administration, and actually where we worked hand in hand. So Commissioner Joey Palomera, pray for a hat trick for me today. Or trifecta for those who follow other sports. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Fiscal Advisor Mark Abel, do you want to give a few highlights? I know we did this on Tuesday, but for those persons on Zoom who did not have an opportunity to join us for Committee of the Whole, where we thoroughly went through every aspect of the budget and the budget instructions, if you want to just talk about highlights for this year's budget.
Sure, Madam Chair. As far as highlights of the budget, as Commissioner Varga indicated, it is $1.82 billion, very comprehensive, significant modifications to last year, including additional funding for our prosecutor, additional funding for our clerk. We added $150,000 for the Western Wayne County Therapeutic Program, which serves 8,000 residents with disabilities in 25 communities. We've added stipends for some of our retirees of $500,000. We have fully funded our pension annual required payment, which is significant because in years past, there was a serious underfunding level. We are now 65% funded. And if we continue to fund the ARC, it will be fully paid off in 13 years. We are transferring $30 million from the Delinquent Tax Revolving Fund to the general fund this year. The budget reflects adequate amounts of property taxes that are being collected, capital projects that are needed in the county, including our ERP, and the Criminal Justice Center will be completed this year, and funding for that is also included as well. But in addition to that, it is an extremely comprehensive budget. And I think that the process of getting to this point is rather significant. We received the budget in early July after the holiday, and we had budget hearings with 20 departments over 8 days, including presentations by our CFO, Huey Newsome, our Auditor General, Marcella Cora. Department heads included our elected officials. Chair Bell, you presented on behalf of the commission. Kim Worthy presented as prosecutor. Our clerk, Kathy Garrett, our sheriff, Ray Washington, our treasurer, Eric Sabri, our chief judge, Tim Kenny, our probate judge, Freddie Burton Jr. And what was obvious to me during the course of those presentations is the commitment and dedication of all of the elected officials within Wayne County. And that was very much appreciated, as well as all of those involved in the presentation and compilation of the budget. Including, I'd like to acknowledge my staff, Terrence Adams, Mary Carr, Stacy Grozer for their commitment, as well as commission staff, someone who was always willing to help and participate that I did not mention at Cow is our commission counsel, Felicia Johnson, who's just a true asset to the commission. I want to thank Huey Newsome and Drew Vandegrift for their commitment and all of their staff, and the CEO as well as all of the elected officials, department heads, and their staff for their responsiveness to the inquiries that came to us so that we could give you the information that you needed in order to properly evaluate and vote on the budget. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Abbo. We did have a good budget this year, as you stated, with cooperation from the administration, all the elected officials, this body. I think that's what needs to happen, is working together, not always agreeing on everything, but coming to a compromise to make sure that we're serving the citizens of Wayne County efficiently and effectively. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, your entire team. Terrence, Mary, Stacy, again, all of our staff who somehow participated in this, from Felicia and our legal staff to our policy staff, Joe, Pam, everyone on our policy staff. It takes a lot of people to make sure that this comes to us in the format that it does come to us and is understandable, and that everybody's concerns and input are addressed. So I just want to thank everyone that put this together. As I stated on Tuesday, while most elected bodies are on recess in the summer, we're working on a budget over the summer. So I want to thank all the commissioners on Ways and Means, especially Commissioner Varga. Let's, if you don't mind, give her a hand. This is her last budget, so let's give her a round of applause for her hard work. Last 3 years, this will be her swan song, as we stated earlier. But I want to thank your hard work and dedication to making sure that everyone got to the table. We talked things out, found ways to compromise to get things done. So I appreciate that tremendously. At this time, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Mercki. You had your hand up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone, Commissioner Varga, for your leadership. This really went smoothly. And for all our staff, the timeliness of getting all the information we needed. This has been the best year that I was always able to be completely prepared before our meetings. And I know that's a result of many people, including the administration. So I really appreciate everybody. I thought this year went really well. I do have to say something though. The one thing I was disappointed in this year is that once again, the township roads are not being addressed in this budget specifically. This is 100% of the county's responsibility. Many of the neighborhoods in the townships have saved money through dues and various ways to match any of the funds that Wayne County will give. So it's a big plus for Wayne County. It's saving Wayne County money. So I'm hoping in the future that this gets addressed. It's kind of been put on hold for the last few years as these roads deteriorate in the neighborhoods. So I'm hoping going forward that this is looked at specifically. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mercki. And just as an FYI, Mark and I did speak about that. And there are going to be conversations, heavy conversations with the administration and to make sure that that is addressed.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too want to commend Commissioner Varga for the work that she's done. Since I've been here, you have been the chair of Ways and Means, and you've always been open to consider any issues that I've had. You've taught me a lot about this committee, and I just wanted to commend you on that, as well as all of the staff and Mark and his team, because it does take a collaborative effort to make this whole thing come together. As we just indicated, $1.8 billion, figuring out how to divvy that up to make sure that we provide services to our constituents. So thank you again, Commissioner Varga, for what you've done.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun, then Commissioner Dopp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Varga, for your leadership on Ways and Means. We're definitely going to miss you. Thank you, Mark, and all the staff. They did a wonderful job, and this demonstrates when we cooperate, we achieve a lot together. On a lighter note, Drew, we have 3 pastors on the standby just in case you need them. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Dopp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When I first became a commissioner in 2019, we held our budget hearings out in the community, which I thought was very nice to, get them out in various communities so that people could attend. But, that also had its drawbacks. And then in 2020, we had the pandemic, and so we had to move everything online. And we've continued that. And I think that is really great. I think it's provided a lot more transparency. People can attend on Zoom. They can also watch the budget hearings after they're recorded, they're posted on YouTube. So I'm really happy to see that increase in transparency in our budget. I also want to echo Commissioner Mercki's comments on the Township Road Initiative. Commissioner Mercki and I recently visited a neighborhood in Plymouth Township, the redistricting. She's going to be taking it over. It's my district right now, but they are looking at doing a complete reconstruction of their subdivision roads because their road is just falling apart. And with a special assessment district, each household will need to pay $20,000. It's a county road. So this initiative is really, really needed. And I'm glad to hear that there are conversations taking place to get that reinstated. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Absolutely. There will be conversations to make sure that they don't bear that burden on their own. Thank you. Any further, Commissioner Haydos?
Thank you. I want to start to tell you, Commissioner Varga, 2 thank you. One of them for job well done. Job well done. You take your job very seriously, especially. Over here, and I appreciate being sitting next to you. Bless you and wish you the in your retirement. And then I want to thank you, Madam the Chair, for your leadership. Thank all the commissioners working together on this budget and the staff. I want to thank the administration. I felt the leadership strong. I remember the county have so many discussion and fight litigation in court with different departments in the administration, the sheriff, the prosecutor. Last few years, it's showing working together effort to where we have almost 250 million plus balance. There's some issue in the past we put on the back burner, and it's an important issue we didn't address because of the financial situation of Wayne County. I hope going from today going forward, we bring those issues to discuss to see how we're gonna deal with those in the near future. And one of the most important one to me is the lead pipe. So I hope we put that on the table to start working to a solution for that problem. Really enjoy working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kinlock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I absolutely agree with what everyone was saying. Commissioner Varga was an excellent chair, but it speaks to who she has been down through the years, especially for those of us who are quite familiar with her love and compassion for the citizens of Southwest Detroit. She's always bending an ear, always willing to help. And she absolutely has been a big support of mine on this, both on this commission and whenever I would need advice, including some little ingredients for certain things. And the staff and the work that goes into preparing this budget, I want to absolutely thank Felicia, Terrence, and Mark, and especially Felicia and Mark and Terrence, specifically like, when you're new to a commission, come up with these great ideas. They are absolutely there to let you know what is statutorily available for you as for options and as well as, ways that you can actually make things happen. And I appreciate that. And Madam Chair, thank you for appointing me to this committee. This is a very important committee because I always say the most important work that we do, the most important policy we do is that of the budget. And I want to, thank you for this opportunity. Yep. And yeah, we work during the summers. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess almost everything that could be said has been said. As Commissioner Varga and I and Commissioner Scott and Commissioner Clerk Coleman, as well as Commissioner Basham, will remember from being in the legislature, it always, people want to say it their way and make sure they get counted as for their comments and thank yous. And I guess I'll try to save a little bit of that by just saying to what previous commissioners have said about her tenure, Commissioner Varga's tenure and our support staff by just saying ditto. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, as the person who has worked and served with Commissioner Varga longer than any other here, I'm not going to get left out of this party. But I will say this, I'll save my remarks for our last meeting in December. Oh,
yes, you are.
I'll find out when your last meeting is, and that's when I'll have more to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, let me get my 2 cents in. Well, I want to thank you, Commissioner Varga. I've known you probably not quite as long as Palomero said he had, but we did serve together in Lansing. And since I've been here for the last 10 years, we've been on the budget committee together. So thank you for all that you have done. You had a good teacher in Lansing, and and so you have just continued to follow through. He would be so proud of you today for all that you have done. And I just want to thank all the staff, the attorneys, everybody for all that they're doing. Just want to remind everyone, though, that I do want to get the children's, all of that pulled together in under one umbrella. Ethel Terrell, who was my state rep from Highland Park, put that in motion. So all the counties have everything under one umbrella. So hopefully we'll be able to do that for our children here and get that lead out of all of these old homes that we have. But thank you. I know we're on the move to get these things done, and I hope and pray that we will be able to bring the staff in that we need here at the county and in the public safety department also. All right. So thank you again. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to continue to stay on Ways and Means. I guess I could just say ditto to what everyone has said, because this has really been awesome. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. And I don't know if we had a motion or not for the budget.
Been here 12.
We need a motion for the budget, please.
I move item 1, Madam Chair.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to move item 1 on the committee of the whole, which is the budget for fiscal year 22-23 and projected budget for fiscal year 23-24, as well as the budget instructions and language for that budget. There's been a motion and support. Any further discussion on the budget? And before I forget, let me just also thank Huey Newsom. I think he might have stepped out. There he is. Huey's been wearing several hats, CFO, plus ARPA, plus. So we want to just thank you, Huey, for hanging in there with us with Wayne County. We appreciate your hard work. And again, to Drew, thank you for your tenacity and your getting this budget, your first budget as the budget director. Good job. We look forward to working with you in the future on future budgets. Commissioner Varga.
Last word, I do have the best committee members in the world. So I could not have done any of this without you, and having perfect attendance is just awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm going to sure miss all of you.
You're not done with us yet, Commissioner. All right. Any further discussion on the budget? Hearing none, please vote.
Carries.
All right. Thank you so much. Next item, please.
We're on item 2.
Well, take 2 through, what is it?
9.
9. 2 through 9. Okay, we're going, items 2 through 9. Again, we discussed these items at Committee of the Whole, but again, for those persons who are on Zoom and on the telephone in the chambers who did not attend Committee of the Whole, if someone can, administration, I suspect that's Huey, to come and just briefly give an overview of what these Oracle contracts are.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I do need to leave at 11. So thank you for allowing me to have a brief conversation with you all. Hopefully you can hear me about these contracts. And alluding back to what we talked about at the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, one thing that for those that don't know, these contracts are paramount for us to get our ERP system throughout the county updated. I think you all know that we started a project back in 2018 to do an upgrade from our current financial and accounting systems, plus our payroll systems from where they are currently to Oracle, an integrated Oracle solution. And we had to restart that project because of several challenges. And we have already hired a program management office firm to kind of oversee how this project will be done. But these contracts before you are for to fill the spots of the systems integrator, who will be Oracle Consulting Services. We trust that Oracle Consulting Services will be able to help us configure our Oracle solution, because this is that solution. This is their solution in theory. And then on top of that, the last contract on the agenda would be for a staff augmentation project. And I think that we've had a number of different conversations throughout this process with you all about staffing challenges. And that was one, as we did our postmortem of what went wrong in the previous version of this project. We realized that, staffing affects everything, including our ability to bring this project across the finish line. So we're asking for a significant investment of money into staff augmentation. And, I humbly ask for your approval on this collection of contracts. We're here to answer questions. And we do have a number of people on Zoom that have made themselves available, just like for committee of the whole, from Oracle, from Guidehouse. We have select people from the administration as well that are happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a motion for items 2 through 9. Discussion. We don't have a motion. I thought we had a motion.
Madam Chair, I will move items 2 through 9 for approval.
Support. Okay, now we have discussion. Discussion on these items. Commissioner Mercki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I am going to vote for this because we need to move forward with this project. But just for the record, I'm not happy the way these contracts came to us. And we had a significant discussion about this the other day, but I am going to vote for this because we need to move forward. But I hope something like this doesn't happen again, where there's so much controversy just because of the way it came to us. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Further discussion on these contracts, items 2 through 9. Well, yes, we do need to move forward because our current system is holding on by a Band-Aid, and we just hope that it will stay intact until this new process is implemented, which is still going to take at least 12 months or so. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. I'm sorry, hold on, don't vote. Commissioner Anderson, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I just wanted to say we were told the same thing several years back that, and yeah, I do believe that we're limping along on the current system. But the way the previous contract was handled and the way this came to us has led me to believe that it's not something that we should continue with. But anyway, so I'll be a no vote. That's all.
Any further discussion? All right, now vote. Thank you.
Carries.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
You're on page 16 of the agenda, upcoming meetings.
Hey, everyone, please note the special full board meeting. It's special because it'll be the third full board meeting in September, on September 27th. As I mentioned a few weeks back, we have a lot of things before us, and because of that, we have to have another full board meeting. And this will be on the partnership with Wayne State for the medical examiner's office, as well as the new 5-year agreement with the Third Circuit Court. So those items, we do have them. Staff is reviewing them now. We wanted to make sure that there was enough time for staff to thoroughly review those items. And then we will have a full board on the 27th because both of those will need to go into effect October 1st. Question, Commissioner Basham? Okay, on the 21st, okay, thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the 22nd, I guess I assume we would be discussing ARPA.
On the 22nd?
Is that September, right, or no?
27th.
On the 27th? On the 27th?
27th. Oh, okay. I thought you said 27th.
27th.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're going to do ARPA after this. Because these are paramount because of the start dates and expiration dates. And then we'll go into a new round of discussions with ARPA, with opioid. And there's something else that we need to discuss that we'll do that in October.
All right, and then September 29th is going to be the Youth Council's first meeting.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to note that as well. And if any commissioners have candidates for appointment, please let me know as soon as possible so we can get them. Mhm.
Thank you, Commissioner Kellogg, and Commissioner Mercki.
You mentioned the youth commission. Youth Commission. Let me just ask Pam, the name that I sent over, I'm still waiting for the application. Is that sufficient with the contact information up until the application comes in? Because it is an appointment by me. Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Commissioner Mercki?
Yeah, say, can you let us know when someone from our district, I know people are applying, but if you get someone that today, right. Yeah, just to let us know which ones made it. Thank you.
Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
We are moving to new business. There are two items listed on pages 17 and 18 of the agenda and one on the addenda. Item number 1 is requesting commission approval of modification number 1 to a collective bargaining agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and the Dietitians and Nutritionists Association, extending the CBA by 4 years and granting pay increases.
Who's here from Labor Relations?
Morning, Madam Commissioner, honorable commission members. Matthew Carmona on behalf of the Labor Relations Division. This is another CBA we recently closed and was ratified. This calls for 3% increases that would be retro to April 18th, consistent with, I think, the 2 or 3 previous CBAs that have been before this commission. It also calls for 2.5% increases, the first being effective October 1, 2022, and then October 1, 2023 and 2024. They would also receive a $1,500 retention stipend for any employee who has been employed with the county for a year or more. The rest of the changes are primarily what I may characterize as housekeeping, replacing some holidays that had already been agreed to. There is a change to the insurance article, but that is simply updating it to reflect what the county is offering, already offering all the other bargaining units. With that, I would be happy to field any questions anyone may have.
Questions on the new CBA agreement, which was voted on by the members?
Yes, ma'am, it was
This
voted
is
on and ratified.
Coming to us for final disposition. Commissioner Mercki.
Dietitians and nutritionists, do you have
There are currently 4, and I believe there are 3 vacancies.
3 vacancies?
It is a smaller bargaining unit.
Third registered dietitian, I'm all for this.
Thank you. Is there a motion for this? Commission.
Just one question. What areas do they work in? Is this dietitians for like the jails or for where?
No, they work with the WIC program. So they're
Oh, WIC.
servicing county residents who qualify for WIC benefits, nutrition programs such as that.
Thank you.
Is there a motion? Sorry, did you do 1 and 2 or did you just?
Yes.
1 and 2? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Motion for item 1 and 2, and just so that you know what number 2 is about, it is a change to or a correction to a resolution that we passed a couple of weeks ago. On the resolution that we passed, our error, it said agreement with 1 2-year terms, but the correct language is 3 1-year options. So that's just a correction for a resolution that we already passed. So that's item number 2. So it's been moved to support 1 and 2 and support it.
Support.
And any discussion? on items 1 and 2, the CBA and the correction to the resolution? Oh, I don't see number 3. Oh, let's do it separately. All right, this is for 1 and 2. Any further discussion on 1 and 2? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion carries.
Next item, please.
We're moving to the addenda. Item number 3 is requesting commission approval of retroactive amendment number 4 to a 3-year lease agreement with 4 one-year options to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and Jefferson Land in the amount of $393,285.20, exercising the second option to renew.
Okay, who's speaking to this?
Jim Jernigan, Assistant Corporation Counsel for the County of Wayne. This is, as described, the second extension, the second one-year extension on this lease that will take us into the end of May 2023. This is for a longstanding leasehold for storage of court and clerk records over the Vigliotti building. And there are 2 additional one-year extension periods after this one if we choose to exercise them.
Okay, and this goes until 23. Okay, any questions, discussion on this item? Commissioner Kinlock, the Commissioner Anderson, the Commissioner Basham.
You know, we have, well, since I've been on here and the clerk has absolutely been making it clear that since she's been a clerk, she's been talking about both staffing issues as well as the need for more space. I'm absolutely, supportive of extending or exercising this option. But I think that we need to have a broader look at our capital outlay and our projected plans and needs as relates to facilities. Of course, we're now going to address the JDF and, we're dealing with the criminal justice complex. But it seems like we need some more buildings, some more structures, because from the long-term perspective, we keep going into these lease agreements, and I'm just seeing that we just keep expanding our footprint as it relates to leases and extending those leases. And maybe, or has there been any thought or conversations around actual constructing some additional space for the county clerk's operation needs?
Thank you. Through the chair, I know that the buildings department, in conjunction with the county clerk, is constantly examining options in terms of whether there are present plans to address your immediate concern. I can't say other than beyond these discussions that are happening all the time to address space concerns because they are concerns. And we have taken on some additional space here at the Vigliotti building to address the space that is required. But I do know that the buildings department is diligently examining other options.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My colleague brought up something that I've been saying for years, that we need to be reducing these storage contracts. We need to have a long-term plan. And I'd like to ask someone from the administration to commit to doing a long-term plan as far as how we reduce the storage that we're paying for outside of the buildings that the county already owns. And I know there's some of those buildings would probably not be appropriate for this type of storage, but we need to be converting to digital files and a digital system. So we have the clerk, whether it's the clerk, whether it's the prosecutor, we have immediate access to those files without having to physically send someone over to the Vigliotti building and dig through files, which costs us extra money when we should be investing the money in a system that we're have immediate access because it's being digitized. And I know a great deal of that's happened with the Register of Deeds, digital records now. So we need to really focus on this because we're paying millions, for this storage. And this is probably just one of those contracts for storage. And we need to be better guardians of the tax dollars, I believe. Thank you.
And Eddie?
Sure. Eddie Fakori with the administration. To your point, Commissioner Anderson, just to touch on that, it is definitely on the radar and in process as far as a plan to reduce the paper that we need to supply and keep storage of. So the digitizing that you're bringing up has been addressed. It is in phases. It does take time. So the administration collectively with all the other elected officials have been working diligently to reduce that and to address that. So the digitizing plan formally isn't something that I could speak to. It isn't necessarily prepared yet to provide, but the work is being done. It is on everyone's radar, and the stakeholders are working collectively to get it addressed.
Okay. Would you be able to give us an update on this within a couple of months, to let us know exactly what's been done, what's the plan, and when we expect to have everything, the ideal situation that we're both trying to get to, I believe.
I will promise to get that request in front of the administration to get a response to as to when would be an appropriate time that they could have something of substance to share with the commission.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Basham, then Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with my brothers across the aisle there about how long this has been going on and what it costs to the county taxpayers and so on and so forth. But there's another issue too, is we have a responsibility as commissioners to, every time I see a retroactive contract, it says that we're not doing our job. So for the administration to realize that, oh, this will go forward anyway, there'll be a couple of comments about it, but it's going to go forward anyway. It bothers me to my core when we continually see retroactive contracts for issues that's been in front of us time and time and time again. So I'm just wanted to raise that also, that this one commissioner certainly does not, even though I agree absolutely with my colleagues across the aisle on this issue, retroactive is another part of this that puts a hair up on my back. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sue, you want?
Good morning, through the chair, Sue Hammoud, Deputy Corporation Counsel. Commissioner Basham, we understand your concerns about retroactive contracts, and we have made a concentrated effort to not have retroactive contracts. Unfortunately, with the staffing shortages that the county is now facing, it's inevitable that we are going to have retroactive contracts because of a slower process.
I appreciate and respect the job, but you're telling us it's going to continue, and I'm telling you that I'm going to start just as one of 15 voting no on every retroactive contract coming in front of me. So it's time to realize how important retroactive contracts or sole source contracts are. We're supposed to let them out. If there's only one group that responds, then I'm fine with it. If we do my deal, I'm fine with it. There's ways we can get around with this. But the point is to say we're going to continue to get more up front and not even know that we need to read the charter, including attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too, I'm concerned about this contract. Well, not just the contract, but that when I became a commissioner almost 4 years ago, this was an issue at that time. And we were at that point digitizing all of these records. And I know we've been through a pandemic and probably slowed down the process. But I think we need to know how much longer this process is going to take. And this contract, it is only 1 year, so we would have the ability to, I guess, revisit this in another year. But I'm just curious about the space that is needed right now for those files. If we've been over the last 4 years digitizing, how much is left to digitize there? So that's my concern. And if there is half of what was there before, maybe we can move those documents into one of the buildings that the county owns already. So that's my concern about it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think now that we're kind of through the pandemic, not really, but it's not as horrible as it used to be. And now they're through the budget. We have some outstanding concerns and issues that we need to address, and the digitization of documents is obviously one of them. So I want to put together a team of commissioners to discuss building issues as well as document disposition with the administration so that we can work together to solve this. Is there a motion for this item?
So, support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion on item number 3? Hearing none, please vote. Thank you, sir.
Carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
We are returning to the agenda, page 18, testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are 2 items listed.
Okay, is there a motion for testimony resolutions?
So moved.
That was a motion. Moved by Vice Chair Pro Tem Baydoun, supported by Commissioner Kinlock with his thump. Any discussion on the 2 items? Hearing none, please vote. Uh-oh, not ready to vote. Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
Motion carries.
Item.
You're moving to memoriams. There are 4 names listed.
Discussion under memorials. Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to focus attention for a couple minutes on a memoriam for Albert Hartsfield. Albert Hartsfield, I've known him since I served on the Detroit Board of Education. He was the assistant chief of the Detroit Public Schools Police Department at that time. And then after that, he became the interim chief. He retired from the DPS. And in addition to that, he was the past president of the Oakman Boulevard Neighborhood Association for several years. Finally, he is my neighbor, who lives down the street from me. And just he and his wife, Gracie, just the nicest couple. Always working out on their yard. Yard is absolutely beautiful. So he is a good friend. I'm going to miss him dearly. Oh, and by the way, I'll let him speak for himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So sorry for your loss. Commissioner Kinlock.
I also would like to take note of Albert L. Hartsfield, who I saw an agenda had passed. I attended Northwestern High School, and he was security officer there when I was in the 9th grade. We became friends over the years. Just an incredible person. He was very helpful to us on the security issues when I was on student council at Northwestern. But even as an adult, when I had 2 stints on the Detroit Board of Education, he was very, very, very helpful. Just a great man to all of the young people and individuals whose lives he's touched. So my prayers are absolutely with the Hartsfield family. And then to Mr. Wong, who was a resident of my district, but also someone I got to know over at the Midtown Shangri-La restaurant, in which many of you are familiar with the Cantonese authentic cuisine or dish called dim sum. So he was the one individual who actually brought that into both Canada as well as into our area, as he was owned a number of different restaurants in the area. Most recently, after his retirement, he worked at Midtown Shangri-La as well as Minjin Lao in Troy. So very nice guy. He was somebody that was very, very talkative on a history of Cass Corridor and his experiences. So thoughts and prayers go out to him as well. And to Mr. Ski family, UAW retiree, absolutely, presented a letter to his family at the services. A number of UAW members came out. He was very active in the UAW retirees. And so my thoughts and prayers go out to his family as well. Thank you for recognizing me, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any additional names for consideration under memoriams? Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. And I'll just add the unfortunate 8-year-old who was killed, shot by someone in her house. It was her and her little brother there in my district just a few days ago. We have too many deaths of our children by gun violence in the city of Detroit, county of Wayne, United States of America. So we want to pray for all of those families who are affected by gun violence every day, and especially the children in Detroit and the families. There's so much work to be done to keep our babies safe. So we want to make sure that we just keep their families in our prayers. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Can I just
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Commissioner Clark-Holman.
chime in on that one? First of all, and I'm going to preface it by saying that I'm not a gun owner. I'm not a gun supporter. So that's how I feel about that. But for those who do, for those who have these guns, please talk to your friends, your neighbors, and all the gun owners and urge them to put gun locks on those guns. This is horrible that we just leave guns laying around. We have children visiting our homes, living in our homes. We have kids are inquisitive and they're going to play with them. So for those who just advocate for these guns, advocate for gun locks and gun safety. Thank you. It just buckles my mind how we just, one after another, these kids are just dying from guns that are left lying around. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We all feel your passion and your pain because it's just senseless. So hopefully everyone that in our voices can hear that and understand that locks on guns, put them away or just don't own them. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Public comments.
Is there anyone in the chambers who would like to provide public comments to this body at this time? If so, please walk to the podium. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, good morning, everyone. Robert Plowski from Southgate, Wayne County again. I represent Transportation Riders United, an organization that has been 20 years in the making, representing transportation in the city of Detroit and also city of Ann Arbor. So I want to take a minute to thank you, Commissioner Varga, for all the hard work you've done on the commission. Your passion, your love for this commission and the community has shown. Even though you're not in my district, on behalf of myself and everyone in Southgate, we want to thank you for all your great work. And also everything you've done for the budget, your work really shows. But now since we talk about the budget and the happy outcome behind that, so going back to the early 2010, so 2011, 2012, Ford Street got a really big construction project where it took out and revamped the entire road. It was paved, but there were sidewalks prior to the construction going on. Now, in this meantime, during this decade, I have witnessed people getting killed, people jaywalking against city lines to get over from one community to the other. For example, Ford Street and Oak, one of the closest intersections to my house. We've seen people cross back and forth, nearly get hit because of no sidewalks. And the closest sidewalk to this intersection is Fort and Eureka, which is very dangerous. And just last year, a 35-year-old pregnant woman was hit and killed for crossing the street in Southgate, and the person didn't see her. So we need to raise awareness. I advocate for pedestrians, especially in my community, and bike lanes. We need to really take a look at this and go back in the planning. We need to put sidewalks back on Ford Street again, and we need to make our community safer, especially for our pedestrians. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comment. Anyone else in the chambers? Don't see anyone. Is there anyone on Zoom? Raise your hand at this time if you're on Zoom for public comments. Is there anyone on the telephone? Oh, anyone on the telephone for public comments? Anyone on Zoom? Going once? Anyone on Zoom or telephone? Twice? Anyone for public comments? Okay, thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk. Okay, 2 emails, please.
First email is from Anthony Plessia. Dear Commissioners, the New England Journal of Medicine recently released a study looking at the effectiveness of the COVID-19 jab on children between the ages of 5 through 11. In the study, there are 2 charts that show that the effectiveness of previous infection against reinfection remains higher in children that didn't receive the jab than in those that did. Why is this still being marketed? Second comment is from Dr. Leah Riley. Hello, Board of Commissioners. The last few months, this commission has talked about gun violence ad nauseum, but I am concerned that this displays a lack of understanding of the root of crime in our county. Look at Chicago. It has some of the strictest gun control regulations in the nation and continues to have the extremely high rates of crime. Restricting gun access to law-abiding citizens does not stop crime. It only leaves the residents of Wayne County more vulnerable to criminals because criminals don't care about following your gun control regulations anyhow. Also, with the cost of food, gas, and other essentials of daily life skyrocketing, why on earth is this commission continuing to put so much money towards advertising the COVID-19 jab? I'm concerned that this commission is very out of touch with the needs of the communities of Wayne County who want their freedoms protected and their tax dollars spent wisely. It's so frustrating to hear about the yearly reoccurring issues within the audit of our budget, which did not get discussed in the full board meeting when this item was received and filed, and then to find out there are commissioner audit committee meetings lasting less than 15 minutes. This is unacceptable and needs to change. Your concerned constituent, Dr. Leah Riley.
Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Reconsiderations.
There are none. Next item.
Remarks by members.
Just want to first acknowledge September birthdays. There are quite a few. Guess that was a busy month for your parents. Commissioner Kinlock, September 23rd. Al Hayes, September 25th. And Palomero, September 26th. So the 23rd, 25th, and 26th. Let's give a round of applause for our birthday commissioners. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the three of you. We'll have to get a cake, a big September cake. All right. Commissioner Varga, I see your hand for remarks by members.
I just wanted to let members know in case it bypassed us that we are working on trying to get the clerk over to the 400 Monroe. So all her operation will be in one. And there is a contract floating and is in the works for that to happen. So I just wanted to let you know. So that issue is going to be put to bed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very important. We've been working towards that for a long time now. Commissioner Kinlock?
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Okay, I wanted to absolutely, I know Felicia likes to tell me that speak to the items when they're there. But I know all of us have been getting calls as it relates to the staffing issues. And I'm looking forward to having conversations in ensuing months, hopefully, to address the compensation at the heart of the issues, because got some calls yesterday about how Wayne County folks are just leaving here, specifically when you talk about the clerks in the court system, they're leaving here and going elsewhere. And that is not a way that we can expect the system to continue to sustain itself, with having a number of these clerks leaving, and not just clerks, but across the entire county. Also wanted to say that I've been quite lenient as it relates to retroactive contracts, but they are an issue and a sore spot for myself. And they have staff generally would just come and give some great reasons as it relates to why they're retroactive. But to hear that it's now going to become part of the normal status quo, that's absolutely unacceptable. And I had to put that on the record because what I think needs to happen is a review of how those contracts are being processed and how they're reaching this commission. It is unacceptable to believe that we should be operating as the legislative body on a regular, normal fashion of accepting retroactive contracts. I believe most of the commissioners do expect to have a reasonable explanation for that. And so I just wanted to say that if you don't have any ideas on addressing it, please reach out to our staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And for the record, accepting retroactive contracts as a normal course of business will not be the way that this body operates. And we will never accept that as a way of how we operate. So just know that. Commissioner Basham is, of course, a strong advocate for that, but all of us know that we do not accept retroactive contracts as a normal course of business. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We just brought up the subject of gun violence, and the Youth Council last year, sponsored a gun safety resolution that talked to gun locks and also the penalty for parents that do not secure their weapons. So this year, to add to what they've already done, we will be planning a trip to Lansing so that they can lobby our legislators to change this or change the gun laws in Michigan. So yes, they need a lot of luck, but I think it's important for them to hear it from the future leaders. And it's just horrific that I think they said it like this year, it's like 26
so far this year.
Yes, young people
That's just the city of Detroit.
And that's just the city of Detroit. And that's just unacceptable. And we have to figure out a way to change this. We can't keep things as they are. And as the saying goes, you can't expect a different result doing the same thing over and over again. So I look forward to our Lansing trip. It will be sometime in November. And yeah, it's a need. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Jesus?
Thank you, Madam the Chair. I really want to thank Robert being community activist. I see him in different board and committee I serve on for such young men who bring a lot of positive ideas and try to pay attention to what we do. And I'm very impressed in such early age in life. Thank you, Robert, and keep up the good work. Yes, thank you. And for the retroactive issue, I have a different feeling. I'm not that old, but I've been for 29 years in the business of elected official. And I try in many ways when I was in position to try to make a difference, and it was impossible because it's not depend on us only. We have a contractor, we have administration, we have so many layers of government, and sometimes things it get delayed. But the issue is we look into that delay, why it's retroactive, and if that's nothing wrong with it. So then we could minimize, but to eliminate it, I really doubt it. I hope I'm not advocating for that, but I decide to accept that when it happened for good reason. So to my colleague, Basham, who I love him dearly and respect him, I would tell him, don't hold your breath on eliminating the retroactive. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. To my colleague, Commissioner McCormick, I wish you well. 1995 and 1996, when I went to Lansing, I had bills that I continued to try and get passed. You know what those men said to me? No one will tell me what to do with my guns. So hopefully you got a different group of men up there this time, all right, that will listen, because I tried for the years that I was up in the legislature to get that done. But we're in a different time now, so I'm praying for you. So thank you so much, you and your group. Well, she said November, so that's when they were going to go.
But right now they're out hunting. Yes.
and nobody tells them what to do with their guns, okay?
I'm the chair to the gun point. I like to mention this, and many of the police department give a free lock.
Absolutely.
To the owner to put lock on their gun for safety. And I hope who doesn't have a lock to get to their police department and they would give him one free. So we need to let the people know about that.
Absolutely.
That's what my bill did. It was to lock them up. It was a lock box, okay? But they said nobody was going to tell them what to do. So hopefully it's a different group of men now.
Right.
Right. They give them away, but nobody's going to tell them what to do with them.
Commissioner Varga?
Thank you. If you remember in 1986, Martha, there were only 10 of us women there and the rest of them were all men. So things have changed a lot, but not that much. Thank you.
Any additional remarks by members? And before we adjourn, just want to also acknowledge Eddie Fakuri, Stand Up Eddie, who also has a September birthday. He rounds us out with September 30th. So September is a very big month for birthdays. All right, well, everyone, please enjoy the auto show. It was great to see the president here on yesterday. And we're glad it's back and we're getting back to some sense of normalcy throughout the city